Now, the subject is now up for debate, but before we begin, I will give you the result of the pre-vote, which you voted for as you came in. And on the motion, we'd be better off without religion. There were 826 votes for, 681 against, which is a majority for the motion of 145, but there were 364 don't knows. So this is time to make up your mind. There are microphones in each of the different areas, and I'm happy to take questions and put them to the different people on the platform. There's one conspicuously here at the moment, but I'd like to take several at once. Let's start with that one.
Hi,
can someone take a microphone over there too for me, please? Yes.
Hi, could I ask Professor Grayling, Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens if they are strict materialists or physicalists, by which I mean that absolutely nothing exists except the physical universe, or if they're willing to allow for the possibility of a further reality, or indeed realities, other than the physical universe.
Right. Who will take that question? Anthony?
I'm the least qualified, so perhaps I'd be the one.
Richard,
can you hear me? Well, I thought I had a microphone.
Well, can you hear him now? The microphone's on. Yes?
Is it on or not?
Yeah.
Well, as the least qualified, I think I could probably be the most brief. I don't believe anyone on the other side can tell me that there's a non-material universe. It's a matter of Occam's razor, really, ladies and gentlemen. Those who say they know that there's a God, which is what a religious person must believe. They can't say it's optional. They can't say it's another name for human rights or charity. They must say they do believe there is something supernatural that provides faith. They can't get out of it like the rabbi tried to, by confusing it with good works. They must also say, if they're religious, that God knows what we should do, what we should eat, with whom we should have sex, in what positions, and so forth. If they don't say that, they're not religious. I'm very sorry. Now, I think it's very easy to tell right away. I may not know, in fact, I don't believe with my cranial capacity, even Professor Dawkins' cranial capacity, it's possible to know what's happening with dark material. We may never be able to know. But don't put your trust in anyone who says that they do. Those people are eliminated from the argument right away. They cannot be right. They have been practicing an imposture on the human species for centuries, for millennia. We happen to live in the lucky period where their claims have been found to be false or superfluous or super-erogatory. There is therefore no other way in which you can decide your vote tonight.
Professor Dawkins.
I would just add to that the science of any one century is going to be superseded by the science of future centuries, such that if somebody from, say, the Middle Ages were to be brought back by a time machine to now, they would find mobile phones and computers and jet aeroplanes. They would be indistinguishable from magic. They would appear to be supernatural. So I am a materialist. I don't believe there is anything supernatural. But don't think of that as a denigration of the natural, because if you were to come back in 500 years' time, you wouldn't have seen nothing yet. The physics, the engineering, the biology of 500 years' time will be so far advanced over today's that we might well fall on our knees and worship it as supernatural, but it wouldn't be. It would be the evolved natural.
Anthony, do you want to add to that?
Yes, just very quickly. I second both those sets of remarks, of course. I just want to add, though, that thinking that there is just the natural world governed by natural laws and that there aren't supernatural entities or agencies in the universe, still less any that have any direct interest in, as Hitch says, what we wear and what we eat and when and so on. In thinking that, one mustn't, again, fall into another trap, which is to think that somehow your attitude to the natural world is one of so-called fundamentalist certainty. And the great thing about the scientific mindset is its acceptance of open texture, of the fact there are lots of things we don't know and understand, and we're looking for and trying to understand, and we're prepared not to leap to closure, to leap to a neat, easy story to understand, which tells us what the beginning was and what the end's going to be. Now, very often, in the case of people who appeal to religions to provide that kind of explanation, what they're doing is that they're answering the question, why is there a world, by saying, well, because Fred made it, as if that answered anything. Substitute God for Fred there, by the way. Or, you know, why are we here? Because Fred wants us to be. You haven't answered anything if you give a supernaturalistic answer to it. But the fact that there are lots of unanswered questions in science is just the fact about this preparedness, the intellectual courage to go on not knowing all the answers, but looking for them.
As actually Professor Sidney Morgenbesser said, when asked the question, why is there something rather than nothing, said, if there was nothing, you'd still be complaining.
Right, I'm going